Hello, I'm back on my show, Better Than Yesterday. I'm Sunil Gera. Today's topic is my journey from debt to financial stability. The story is about 30 years back. I owned a factory in Nasik and I had taken loan from financial institutions like MSFC, State Bank of India, and I also had invested my margin money. I was manufacturing equipment for pharmaceutical industry, and my fort was one to one selling, and I was getting fairly good number of orders. Period of time, I got a little distracted, and I spent a lot of my personal time and financial resources for becoming head of a social group, and which involved traveling and making a lot of arrangements. And uh, it gave me good status. However, it also took away a lot of my time. With the result that I was not in a position to devote sufficient time for my factory. So it happened that my factory was new and I didn't understand the mentality of my workers and my factory manager. So over a period of time, they started considering their salary and their perks as their right. They made a union and whatever orders I would get, they were always delayed. I would get orders at competitive rates, and suppose the delivery was 2 months' time, it would invariably get delayed to 3 months to 4 months. I would sometimes have to pay penalty charges for the late delivery. And on top of it, some of the equipment were not completed 100%, and the remaining 5% or 10% work had to be completed after the equipment had reached the customer's factory, which resulted into quality problems as well as problems of my my image, company's image. The situation became so bad that I had fully exhausted my draft facility. I was not in a position to pay the salaries and pay the installment for the financial institution and interest and installment of my working capital loan. So I had to suffer. I would be getting calls from my creditors at odd times. Sometimes they would visit unexpectedly. I would maybe make arrangement for the finance or maybe part of the finance which was due. But the conditions remain bad and it started affecting my health also. Fine. The situation was not, it could not be corrected. And I thought that instead of suffering, I should find out a way. So on one Sunday, I sat down and started writing about all the dues which I had to pay to my creditors, financial institutions, any other installments. It could be a credit card, it could be car loan, it could be anything else. And I thought that I have to find a way out. I would not be able to continue present situation. So I told my workers that I'm not interested in continuing my manufacturing because this was not I had envisaged. And I told them that in any way I will quit. But if you want, then I can pay you 6 months' salary in advance. And I want you to sign the agreement. All of them agreed. And I sold some of my personal assets and sold and paid my workers fully. I also completed my term loans because there were just about one or two installments which are pending, which I cleared by raising my own resources. And the main creditors who were left were one, my bank for working capital and some of my small creditors. And then decided to move from manufacturing to trading. I was always getting good orders, so marketing my strength, and I had involved myself into manufacturing, inventory control, purchases, management of finance, cash flow. But these were not the kind of responsibilities which were really supportive. I was not in a position to do these things with full knowledge and vigor. So I approached some of the manufacturers of Maharashtra, good manufacturers, that they could give me agency for North India, and I moved to North India. And they happily agreed because they knew that I would be in the position to get good orders for them. And then I moved to North. At that time, my chartered accountant, as well as my financial consultant, helped me in getting a bar for my factory, for my company. And they agreed to take all my liabilities, excepting for working capital loan, which I paid off. So finally, I was out of my debt. I was a free person. It took me about 3 to 4 years' time to complete this whole process of closing my factory and then becoming a free person without any liabilities. So this was a great learning. First thing, I gained more confidence in myself. I realized that debt is not an end. It is only a detour. If a person is confident and applies his mind, he would be in a position to find ways, not one, but many, to get out of any kind of difficulties. I had the knowledge of the field, and I knew that I would be in a position to get income, good profits. And I did that by becoming agent for some of the other manufacturers in North India. And I consistently increased my earnings. The second learning is that one should not get into distractions like I did in doing certain things for sake of status. Status is not so important. The most important thing was at that time that I would make my business successful. I made that mistake and all, but I parted with it and I stopped wasting my time in business friends, social friends, and competing with them in things which are not connected. I focused purely on my business after that. There are many more learnings one could have, and I'm sure you would have gained something from my narration. You would have got some ideas that how one could get out of debt and reach financial stability. This might show better than yesterday, and I'm sure you would have liked it. I request you to press the subscribe button so that I come out with more such episodes in future on same subject as well as on subjects of your choice. So all the best to you. Thank you very much. Bye.